This is Richard Lynch, you're watching ilovelimerick.com, and today I'm in the beautiful People's Park, joined by the equally beautiful actress and poet, Meg Hennessy. Welcome home to Limerick, Meg
Thanks very much,
Hennessy.
Richard. Thanks a million. It's good to be home. Thanks for having me.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Born
you.
and raised, well, you're born in New York,
Born in
raised
New York.
here.
Yes.
And then you've been back pursuing your acting career in New York. How does it feel to be home?
It's wonderful to be home.
Oh.
I'm absolutely thrilled to just be around family and friends and just town.
You've
It's
been
really
living
nice.
there 8 years now.
8 years. Yeah, it goes by like that.
Wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. I have to tell the story. I'm so sorry, Meg.
No, please do.
I was in the hospital the day she was born. I
Yeah.
got to meet her because her mom and dad were my roommates in New York, which is amazing. So to see you pursue your acting, I just want to ask you essentially, why acting?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Why?
I couldn't really imagine doing anything else. I think it's very creative and it's so immersive to become somebody completely different, and it allows you to imagine what it must be like to be another person and step into another person's shoes, like people who have different experiences than you, different backgrounds from you. Just, you learn more when you're trying to figure out how to be somebody else about yourself.
Wow.
And
Yeah, makes sense.
it's just like, it's like magic, you
It is
know?
like magic.
And because I watched Titanic when I was about 4 and I was really inspired by the love story of Jack and Rose, and I was like, that's what I want to do, you know? It was always a no-brainer. It was always just in the bones, I suppose.
You really started with the Limerick Youth Theatre, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I started with speech and drama.
Yeah.
And then,
how old were you then?
I think I was about 4 or 5.
Wow.
And I did the Féile Limni every year.
Yeah.
And then I started with Limerick School of Acting with Nigel Mercier. And then,
Nigel, fabulous.
yeah, it was brilliant. And then Centre Stage with Richie Ryan.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that was great. So I was able to do it like the whole way up, you know.
You didn't do Spotlight?
No, I didn't do Spot. I did Expressive Arts though.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I did a bit of ballet with Alice Marshall.
Wow.
So I was really lucky. My parents were willing to drive me everywhere and, you know, take
gonna
me
be
to all
saying
the
wow a
classes and
lot.
everything. So yeah, it was great.
At what age was
And
Limerick Youth Theatre?
I joined Limerick Youth Theatre when I was 15. I think I was supposed to be 16, but I told a little white lie, so I was able to get in earlier.
And there was a monologue in the park, I remember. I got into
Yes.
trouble for.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
So Meg came to me.
That was actually gas.
I don't know how old you were. at
I
the
was
time,
about,
13?
I would have been about 50, yeah,
I was a little- I
14,
think I was a little
15.
younger.
Yeah.
She came in and asked me, she needed to do a monologue for something. So we got a book of monologues and you actually picked it out.
Yeah.
But it was quite a controversial monologue and your mom was a little
It was a little bit
upset.
grown up, I
It was a
think,
bit
for
grown
me
up. It was
at the
about
time.
a girl getting pregnant and
Yeah.
considering.
But sure, that was the things I
terminating her
was
pregnancy.
interested in
Yeah.
at that age, you know. So those were the things I was like drawn to. So
Like
yeah.
you were always serious about your acting, though. that was for
absolutely,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
And so you went through all those steps in Limerick. Limerick Youth
Yes.
Theatre was an amazing experience, I bet.
It was the best. I got so much exposure with them, so much education. I learned so much. I made so many great friends. It really, yeah, every Saturday it was just my highlight of the week, you know.
And Miles Breen, did you get to work with him?
Yes, I worked with him 3 or 4 times. We did plays with the Daughters of Charity together. And yeah, it was great. It was
Miles is
lovely.
what a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. For someone, a homegrown actor, to have stayed here, did
Absolutely.
about in
He's
Dublin.
Fantastic.
And then to be so driven and living as a paid
Yeah.
job actor, as we know, not easy
And
to do.
creating jobs for actors in Limerick as well. That was really beneficial to me when I was young because it helped me to build a resume, you know, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what year then? So 8 years ago you get to New York. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
about the transition of going there to pursue an acting career.
So it was 2016 and I was in Mary I at the time and I really, really wanted to pursue acting. So I kind of I found a Meisner Technique studio. Richard actually you came into our youth theatre and you taught us a Meisner class and
Oh,
it
I
was
did.
really interesting. So I was like, I'm mad to study
I
this.
did
Like,
years of Meisner. Everyone
Yeah.
knows now. I went to William Esper Conservatory and I
Yeah.
graduated from there, yeah. I didn't go till I was 31.
yeah,
And I always said to you, oh my God, don't wait, go do it now.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, you were laughed out when you told everyone you wanted to act. So I actually didn't get to acting school till I was 31. So here
Okay.
you are 8 years ago.
yeah.
You
And you
did-
said to me, what's for you won't go by you. You always said that. I always remember that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I
Yeah.
think so. Talk to me about when you first started studying acting and the different techniques you studied in New York. What did you do? You did a bit of Meisner. Where did you do that?
I did that at the Maggie Flanagan studio. And that's actually all I did. That was the only technique that I learned. And it was really beneficial to just study one area for 2 years to just really get it kind of in your bones, and you learn a
Lot of
method and
repetition.
a way of doing it. Yeah, exactly. So that any material that you approach, you're kind of able to break it down and able to apply it to yourself and able to kind of bring yourself to the role, I suppose. But yeah, it was really helpful. It was really, really
I
good.
remember saying to you, it's living truthfully in imaginary circumstances.
Yes, doing truthfully under imaginary circumstances. That's one of the.
So you really have to believe, don't you?
Absolutely.
That you're actually, like, you just really have to
Absolutely.
fool yourself. So you do Maggie Flanagan.
Yes.
What happens after that? How many years of that do you do?
I did, that was a 2 year program, but I spent about 4 years in it and on it.
As you do.
Yeah, just because I kind of took my time and I had to find my feet in the city, and I kind of started over because nothing is a straight line for me, like, you know what I mean? So I spent about 4 years doing that, but by the time I went back into first year again, that September, I booked a role with the Irish Repertory Theatre and I started working off Broadway then. So I was really lucky to pay my way through acting school by working professionally.
What was it like to be living in New York and go out auditioning as a jobbing actor? It's quite scary, isn't it? Because I've done it.
It is, yeah,
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
be, especially when you kind of don't know a whole lot of people when you're starting out and you're by yourself. But there's a man from Limerick, George Heslin, who helped me.
Origin Theatre Company.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
incredible. Thank you, George, for waving the
Thank
flag
you,
in New York.
George. Yes.
He brought Miles Breen's play, I believe.
He did.
Language on Becoming a Lady, which went
Yes.
to New York, won awards. So I
Yeah.
love to see Limerick people succeeding in New York. And George, he's worked very hard, hasn't
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. He was the one name now I had when I went over. Obviously, I went over to my godmother, Mary Whelan, and
Yeah.
Pat O'Donnell. And George invited me out to an event and I met him. And then I kept running into him after that. And I said to him, you know, like, I'd love to get coffee with you. I'd love to chat to you. And he said, come into me one day and do a monologue for me. And I did that. And then he was on to the Irish Repertory Theatre about a week later. I had an audition for them. And I was knocking on the door for about a year and a half before they kind of gave me a role. So you really have to...
Be persistent.
Yeah, just keep showing up, keep doing it, keep like...
Doing the work.
Yeah, and just never get bogged down.
And you said to me, you made an amazing analogy, like every day, like if your acting career was a cat, you'd feed it the same time every day, you
Yeah.
nurture it every day, you work every day, and then you kind of have to let the cat free, you said to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a big part of it is realizing like what I'm in control of and what I have no power over. So all I can really control is the work that I do and how I show up and how I submit and how I take care of myself and my mental health. And then just let it all go after that and just kind of trust that you've done everything that you can, and that just hope and pray that something will land. And something usually does, thank God, you know.
Thank God, because
Yeah.
they say New York either makes you or breaks you.
Yeah.
So as you know,
Oh,
I
that's
spent
so
16
true.
years there.
That is so true.
What have been the struggles, trials, tribulations you've had to overcome to pursue your dream?
Well, I had to, I actually struggled with addiction earlier on in my 20s and I was very bad. So I kind of had to make a choice, you know, between like just quitting and taking care of myself and like continuing on the path that I was on, which I don't think was a very healthy trajectory for me. So I just gave it up and then, yeah.
And you
now-
haven't looked back since?
No, not really.
And
not
has
at
your
all.
acting contributed to you staying on that journey, knowing that that's your ultimate goal?
Absolutely, it always has. And spirituality, I think, as well. And being from Limerick and my family and just support of other people.
Staying grounded.
Yeah.
You write poetry.
I do,
and
I do.
It's just a general kind of creativity, kind of like keeps you sane, right? It's
Yeah.
like an exorcism, creativity.
100%.
artistry, pursuing
Just
it.
being able to express yourself and getting all of your feelings out there in any kind of way you can. And it doesn't always have to be between one avenue, you know, if you have your career in one like area of the arts and you pursue that, you might become dependent on solely expressing yourself through that medium. So for me, it's like acting is my job, and then
You have to be
dance and
versatile.
writing is
Yeah.
something that I do for fun, and maybe they can intertwine in the future, who knows, and swap
That
over.
would be the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you got the Netflix show Archive 81. I love horror, by the way.
Oh yeah, horror is brilliant.
So to see you in a horror, I don't want to give away what happens, but I watch it
It's a bit scary.
100
It's a bit
times.
scary. All right.
Talk to me about when getting the Netflix show, and I know you've had small parts in 2 movies since.
Yeah.
Tell me about all of that. And this
So-
was after how many shows on Off-Broadway have you been doing?
4 or 5 at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was very lucky. They kept hiring me quite consistently after our first show together.
Has a paid job.
Yeah, and then the pandemic hit, obviously, so there was no theatre at that time. So I started submitting for more TV and film and doing more self-taping. And I had just come back from Ireland for Christmas, and I was staying with a friend in the city, and an audition came in for an Irish girl in a Netflix horror series, and I said, okay, now I really, really want to book this. So I just put heart and soul into it, and I got very lucky.
That's
And yeah. So
that's amazing. And how
yeah, I
was
was
that whole
thrilled.
experience? It's a very different experience, isn't it, when you're actually on a professional set
Absolutely.
and they're calling you? And
Yeah.
it's
It's a lot of
Yeah, it's a
there's always a
buzz.
lot going on. There's always a lot of people, and it's very exciting. And I had to remember to kind of keep the head, you know what I mean? I did a bit of like meditating, a bit of praying to just make sure that I was, like ready to go. But I think growing up in Limerick and always being around people and I worked in Nancy's for 10 years as well. Just being able to kind of
Knowing how to handle yourself.
exactly, and knowing how to talk to people as well is an important thing. So yeah, I got along very well with everyone, thank God, and everyone was so sound and lovely.
And the 2 little parts, you've had 2 parts in movies.
Yeah,
haven't you?
so
But
I
with
did.
some amazing director.
Yeah, I was really lucky. So I did a film there with Tony Goldwyn the year before last that was called Ezra, and I played an Irish bartender in that, and that was great crack. And I was on that set for a couple of days. And then recently I did a film with Adam Brooks, another Netflix film, and we actually shot that the day of the eclipse. So everybody was out. We took a little break to go out with all of our sunglasses and just look at the sun.
solar
Yeah,
eclipse.
yeah, it was cool. That was a fun
And
one.
what's the dream now, Meg? I know that you are a trained theatre actress. Was the going
Yes.
into film and TV and stuff that you've done, is the transition different to do both?
It's really different actually. It's just kind of like another leg to the craft, It's just like having another wing or another string to your bow, like. And
And no matter how
as
much you
soon-
study, you'll never know everything. It's like the tarot or something.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
something to learn every
You have to
single
feel it out.
day.
Yeah, and it's so the difference between TV and theatre is theatre is live and it's in front of an audience and you're going through the entire arc of the character in one setting. And then TV then is you have a small scene that you do over and over and over again. So the way that you prepare can be a little different.
And then auditioning is a whole other beast altogether.
Yeah, that's its own kind of adventure, I suppose. But yeah, well, the goal anyway would be to work as much in Ireland as I work in America, in New York. Be kind of like transatlantic and come home for 6 months and then
Because
go
the
over for
economy
6
is,
months.
the film economy is booming here, as we know.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's great to see so many friends working in film, working in TV
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So you're back checking it out.
Yeah, that's it. That's the goal anyway, is to see if because
Transatlantic,
I'm
baby.
over there so long now that I know a lot of people over there, but
acclimated.
I'm trying to get to know a few people at home now at the
Yeah.
moment. So just try and it's all about kind of making friends, and
Meg, I love
Yeah.
you so much, and I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thanks
I could
so
not be
much.
prouder of this beautiful union.
thanks a million,
Actress and
Richard.
poet Meg Hennessy, thanks for chatting to
Thank
me
you for
today. I love
having
you,
me.
my
I love you
baby.
too. Thanks a
Love
million.
You. Love you. I'm
Cheers.
so
Thank
proud of
you. Thank
This
you.
is Richard Lynch. This is Meg Hennessy. You've been watching ILoveLimerick.com.
Cheers. Thanks.